What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the North Leeds Jitz podcast, episode 133. This week on the show, me and Professor Mike talking to you about kind of future developments in GBRL, letting you know the journey forward for us as a community and everything that you got to look forward to in months and years to come. So, quick updates. You all well? We had a cool fireworks night last night.
Yeah, it's Sunday morning. It's Sunday morning at like 9 something in the morning.
Which is normal for you. It's unnormal for me.
Yeah. So if our voices are a bit deeper, I've already done a workout this morning with my wife, so it's gone pretty well. Thanks to Johnny Gratian for that. Yeah, no, the fireworks night was brilliant, man. It was raining last night, but it always fills me with pride when I look around, and you can't really tell who everyone is because they've got the hoods up and the brollies up, but you know that 200 people, families, kids, have had the opportunity to go to somewhere like that with guaranteed tickets because we sponsor it. And, it's just really lovely, isn't it? I mean, I was talking to Sarah on the way up. My kind of, like, the closest person to me in my life was my granddad. And bonfire night, he would always show up and we'd walk down together. So it's got a really lovely kind of feel to me. And it just feels really good to be able to make sure that, given that the council stopped the fireworks in round 8, that there is somewhere for our families to go and to experience that and build those memories for themselves. So it was amazing. I always love it, man.
Yeah, it was good, and it's nice to be able to do that. So the meat and potatoes stuff we want to talk about today is as we mentioned a few podcasts ago, we've got a price increase coming, and then kind of we're going to talk to you about all cool things that are going on in the academy that kind of are part of that evolution of the academy, right? So, do you want to just jump in with the adult stuff first?
Yeah, I think there's two things on that. So, at the moment, we're underpriced. It's as simple as that. What we offer and what we charge at the moment isn't married up. We haven't increased or changed our prices for best part of 2 years, I think. And we made a conscious decision. We have discussed pricing as a team in that time, but we decided that because of the cost of living crisis, because we knew people were suffering on all levels, groceries going up, fuels going up, mortgages going up, interest rates out of control, we really wanted to try and absorb as much of the pain ourselves as an academy, right? And we've had those conversations. So we haven't changed our prices for a long, long time. We've been absorbing increased costs as a business throughout that time. That can't continue. So there's two things for me. It's like at the moment where we stand with what we offer, I don't think we're where we need to be in terms of price, because I think we do offer something that's quite exceptional in our city and, well, in the UK, maybe even in Europe, you might argue in Gracie Barra. But it's also about the future, like T just said. It's like we've got big ambitions and we've been working really hard as a team with an external business mentor and coach to make sure that we become who we want to become. Not for us, because this isn't about taking more money out of the business. This is about building a business which can put more in for everyone else, right? So we've got some amazing plans and we wanted to share them. In terms of the price, if we jump straight into that, so at the moment if we talk adults, we're 89 a month. Look, there's cheaper jiu-jitsu in Leeds already, but it's not the same on many different levels.
There's also a more expensive jiu-jitsu in Leeds right now.
There's already more expensive jiu-jitsu in Leeds. And we've looked at a lot of different offerings, not just jiu-jitsu, but CrossFit, any kind of coached class, high level, and try to understand where we sit. We're going to raise and change our pricing to $105 a month. Now that pushes us into a different category, really, as a premium offering within the city. That's the equivalent of an extra £4 a week for adult unlimited members. It's the price of a latte, right? Like, it's not a huge amount of money really per week. For some people it might be, but we've tried to keep it pretty reasonable. T's going to talk about the scheduling in a moment. We've got a schedule change coming before this price change in February the 1st, which will create a schedule which is the most comprehensive schedule of any Gracie Barra Academy in the whole of the UK. So you go look at any, never mind non-Gracie Barra academies, go look at any academies you want. You will not find a schedule as packed as ours come January 2024. It's just not going to happen. So price change is happening 1st of February. It's £4 a week extra for members, but you're going to get an extra God knows how many classes. I mean, what did the schedule look like last time we changed our price? Was that 2022?
Well, this is definitely the timetable for like summer 2022, and I think we were probably still about £89. Last summer it seems right, and you've got. Even compared to what we do now, there wasn't lunch classes every day, so we didn't have a Friday or a Tuesday lunch at this point. Obviously, no live training after it. We didn't have any Thursday evening offerings with the GB1 and the live training now. We only ran, well, that's going to be coming soon, which we'll talk about in a second. No other morning classes, so we just had the Tuesday and Thursday GB1. Obviously now we've got the live training for those morning guys there as well. And then looking forward, all these kind of gaps are all filled. So come February, you're going to have Monday morning classes, Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, Thursday morning, Friday morning. You have lunch classes every day. So as we currently do, and then live training. Then you've already got the Thursday classes, which are going to be increased, so we're going to put on another Thursday GB1. You've got another GB1 to go to on a Tuesday we're putting on, so that'll run just before when the currently all-level snow gi is on. All-level snow gi gets pushed back a little bit. You can this timetable will also be released alongside the other information you get, so you can have a look at all the new additions. But there's loads in there. Essentially, if there's any time of day you want to train, you'll be able to train at it.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. The Tuesday night GB1, because we looked at it, and you don't kind of see these things sometimes. But if you were anything under 3-stripe white belt, you could only train twice a week, right, on an evening.
I think it was times a week. I think it was.
At 6 o'clock.
I think it was 7. It was 7. If you could only train at 7 o'clock and you were a just started member and you wanted to train in the evenings, then you'd have basically Monday evening at 7 and then Friday evening at 7. Yeah. The other ones would be either like a live training or a GB2 at those times.
Yeah, so that's going to massively change. If you can just train on an evening because you've got a job and you work in the city and you've got kids, you need to put them to bed. It's going to change the whole game around this. Similarly, the morning crew, the people who want to train, get ahead so they can spend the whole evening with the kids, or maybe you work shifts, being able to come train at 6:30 on a Monday and live train after every morning class.
Yeah.
Again, that's like a game changer for a lot of people.
I think that's massive. A lot of I'm not at many of the morning classes, but I speak to a lot of those guys because it just happens that they're quite prominent figures in the academy, and a lot of them are really excited about having some live training options for them in the morning, even if it's a 30-minute block, because that's what they can kind of commit their time to. A lot of them need to go do school runs and stuff like that, and if you look at the member numbers, which is like really important to us, that's why we ask you to book onto your classes so we can see who's attending what, so we can give you guys the things that you want to go to. Thursday morning class is quite consistently the most packed morning class. I think that's because the idea is because there's a live training element after it, so it gives people the option if they want it. Whereas the other ones don't currently have that, with Tuesday and Wednesday being Barra Fit. So really good options for you guys. It'll change the way you guys can train, which is awesome.
Yeah. The other change alongside the price change for adult members is that we're basically scrapping a reorg room membership, and we're going to include that in with your price. So for an extra £4 a week, you can now access the reorg room up to twice a week to supplement your strength and conditioning around your mat time, or to recover even better with the ice bath, with the sauna. We've got an iron neck in there now to help you look after your neck, a load of stuff to help you recover real quick. So, it's actually cheaper than if you were on a membership and then you were paying a reorg membership as well as it used to be. So we hope that's going to be welcomed by a lot of people. Now, you might be saying, well, I've got a gym somewhere else, I don't want to use that. Fine. That's absolutely fine. But you may decide to stop training there because you only go to JD once a week. Come here once a week if you want. It's just going to give you a different offering. And I think it just, like I said, it just elevates us to that next space in jiu-jitsu, which is that uber premium offering. Okay, so moving quickly on from adults. So there'll be no Reorg monthly membership anymore. You'll just book onto your classes for Reorg Room. It'll be exactly the same on Team Up. Nicola will help you do that if you want. You'll see the time slots available. We only have up to 2 people in the Reorg Room at any one time, so you feel like you've got some private time, and that's really cool. So 105 for adult limited. Adult limited memberships raised to 96. There's not many people on that, if anyone, I don't think. And then the other stuff's for non-members, so drop-in classes and stuff. So that's it for adults, really. We think that it's a great offer. We think that it's still really, really good value. And I hope you do too.
What I'll say about that is, I don't, there's, people's finances are all relative, right? So you could definitely say it's too expensive for you, but I just don't think anyone could say we've not increased the value by like what we do. If you just did like simple maths of like a division between, if all you were interested in were the classes, then divided like the amount of classes you had access to by the amount you were paying compared to like the amount we have now, it would be crazy, I think, to argue that we've not increased the value by that, at least that amount, especially when you factor in just the rate of everything going up in price anyway.
Yeah, if you came to, at the new price point of 105 a month as an unlimited adult member, if you came to 4 classes a week, then the price of those classes is £6.50. Like, you tell me where else in the world you can go and get high level instruction, not just go like drop in, like high level instruction in a premium facility for £6.50 for an hour. Like, you just can't do it. You can't do anything for £6.50. You can't go and have a coffee and a piece of cake for £6.50. So like in those terms, you train 4 times a week. And we're not even talking here, are we, about all the other stuff, the fireworks night, the community stuff, the parents' night off, all the stuff we've got coming up. So I think, look, we don't need to try and sell you this. We want to try and just give you the information, but we're really proud of it. And I think it gives us the opportunity to reinvest back into the business even more and make it even better. I'm going to run through the child membership prices just for anyone who's not read this stuff, just so you can get it. The adult member price change is the largest shift. So we've tried to protect families. I'm going to come on to discounting in a moment for families because that's really important. We've completely overhauled that to make it better value for families. So the new prices for child memberships as of the 1st of February, Tiny Champs, £28 a month. That's for 1 class. On that though, we are looking at putting another class on for Tiny Champs. So if you've got a 3-4-year-old child who loves jiu-jitsu and they want to come twice, or you just can't handle the Saturday morning thing because you've got football and everything else, we're going to have a midweek class for you coming soon. 1 kids class a week is £44 a month. 2 is £64. 3 is £74. 4 is £84. So the more you come, the better value you get. Junior and teens, because it's a longer running class, 2 classes is £74 a month, 3 classes is £84. And then on top of that, we have kids competition class, which is £10 on a Friday night. So a small percentage increase in all of those programs, just to match what we're doing with everything else. The other thing to note for adults and kids is that as of February, we behind the scenes will be ensuring that everyone benefits from member-to-member insurance through UKBGA as part of your membership. So if you were to go and buy that yourself, it's £15 a month, but we're going to make sure that every member in the academy gets that. So again, it's another added piece of value to your membership. If you injure someone in the academy and there's a litigation against you, you will be covered by insurance from UKBGA through Marsh Insurance, which is a specialised sports insurance brand. So that's fantastic. Really excited about that. I'm going to jump straight into discounts because this is a big one for us. At the moment, we offer like a flat 5% for blue light services, veterans, students, family members. So every member in your family will benefit from 5% off. Like when we were doing this price change, we wanted to make sure that we were protecting families and the families who, more than one person comes to train. So this is what we're going to do. So, and we're going to class couples, you don't need to be married, but couples as families as well, right? Because that's really important, isn't it? So the first person in that family pays a full membership. That's just like everybody else, okay? The second family member now benefits from 10% off on their membership. And this is for the cheaper membership, right, of the two. So if you're a couple who currently pay our unlimited adult membership, both of you, with the new price change, you'll only pay an extra £10 a month each. So £2.50 a week each with the discounting. So, you know, it's not going to go up by 16 a month, it's going to go by 10 a month for you. So that's going to help. The third family member, 15% off. Fourth family member, 20% off the membership. Fifth family member and anyone after that are going to get a free membership. So you can do the maths for yourself, but it's going to make a big difference to the families that all come and train. You know, the two parents and the three kids, they're going to get at least one membership for free and 10, 15, 20% off their kids, which is amazing value. So we're really, really proud about that. And we want to continue to help families to grow together on the mat in the academy and part of the community. So that's it on pricing. We're going to send out a written piece of communication around this on email to everybody. You'll also get a link to that in the WhatsApp groups. You can also access this information on here if you're listening or watching. So we're hopefully going to capture everyone in this information. Anything else on pricing, T, you think?
Not on the figures themselves. I just think I'm excited. It just gives us more opportunity to make this place even better than it already is.
Yeah. I'll say this. I mean, I'll take my business hat off, right, for a moment. You could, in January, buy yourself an annual membership at the current price and train all next year for the same price, right? Like if you wanted, that's absolutely cool. Fill your boots on that if you want to do that. I would be if it was me. Worthwhile saying, of course, founder members, we're still honouring your support from the very beginning. You'll still be paying your original founder price, and we're very grateful for you being with us for the last 3 years, which is pretty cool. So let's talk about the future then. We've talked a little bit about scheduling, and I've mentioned that we've been going off-site as a team, investing in our team, trying to grow the team as well. So we've got 30 assistant coaches now, which is just madness. So many assistant coaches, brilliant. And all those guys benefit from discounts on the membership or free memberships. So again, if you want to be a coach, get in touch with Soaps, we'll make that happen for you. And we've been growing our kind of inner circle team. So Nicola's now working full-time, 37 hours a week as our program director, which means you have more access to her for that support, should you wish. Soaps has come in as an academy manager to help get all the processes and systems absolutely singing so we can have the infrastructure to grow really well. And of course, you'll see me and T around, and Wei and Kev as well, just as much. There's a few things, so we're looking at this in kind of quarterly blocks, right? I'm not going to give you all the full detail because you don't need it, but some of the headlines really of what we're trying to do in the next term really, so the next year or so, is that we're going to create a comprehensive after-school provision. So what we'd love to get to in the future is a place where, in 5 years' time, we'd like to have a fleet of vehicles that go and pick your kids up, bring them to the academy so they're not in after-school clubs in school, and they can do that education here in the academy. That's what we'd love to do. We're going to have to, start with baby steps, but we'd like an after-school provision. We definitely want, probably before that, a holiday camp provision. So maybe not every single day of the 6 weeks holidays or half terms, but certainly some of them. We'd like to offer the ability for your child as a member to come here and do really, really professional, health-focused activities for that day around jiu-jitsu, around yoga, around chess, around crafts, whatever that is. And of course, you'll know that Soaps has, a decade's worth of experience in the private school system as a teacher. So she will be creating that provision for us, and that'll be exclusive to members and their friends. And also we'd like to create an ability for your kids to come and have birthday parties here. So they can bring the mates on a Sunday afternoon and have a run around and have a great time. We'd like to launch within the next year our GBRL Foundation. We do a lot for the community already, right? We sponsor Round Easons Rugby Club. We sponsor Round AFC. We pay for the fireworks night in November every year, and lots of other stuff. We give free memberships out to Ukrainian refugees, and we help everybody. We try and do our best. We'd like to formalise that and create a charitable arm within GBRL to help even more people. So we'd like a social outreach project where we can offer free training for disadvantaged children. To do that kind of stuff, we do need to fundraise for it. It can't keep coming out of the business's money because it's just unsustainable and we can't do what we want to do. So we'd like to one day go and maybe have a ball, a black tie ball with all our members, fundraise for the night, and then have a pot of money which we can then use for good causes and maybe even engage with our members to decide what we do, right? So that's really exciting. We're looking at a student exchange program for our junior and teens with Brasa de Prata out in Lisbon, Professor Victor's academy, and maybe Marseille as well, Professor Sebastian Garnier. So that's really exciting. Maybe an opportunity for your child to go and experience another culture, train jiu-jitsu in a new language, and we'll reciprocate that with their students. Spoke to Victor, didn't we, last week at the conference. He's really keen to do that. So that's something we're working towards. And opportunities for our junior leaders to better develop. So we've got a junior leadership program in place at the moment. We are making that more robust, and we're having a little agreement between the two of us to ensure that they are accountable for that responsibility, and we're going to be creating a system and a pathway really for them to develop. We've already done a new coaching pathway for our coaches, right? So that's world class. That's way above what Gracie Barha do. All our lead coaches do their ICP, the certification process, but we have added additional things in there to make sure that the coaching is as rich as it can be. And opportunities for community members to make a living through jiu-jitsu, right? So if you absolutely love jiu-jitsu, or you're in a job you hate and you think one day I'd love to own my own academy, or one day I'd like to invest in creating a new academy, or one day I'd like to be an instructor at a school or at this school, then you want to give you the opportunity to do that. And we, as a team, and Gracie Barha UK and Gracie Barha Europe are behind you on your ambitions to be able to do that. I know Gracie Barha have a really ambitious project. There are about 1,000 schools, just over at the minute, 1,007 or something. And they want to, or they think they're going to have another 50% schools. Is that right, in the next few years?
Yeah. I think the aim for to get to 2,000 schools is much shorter than the 20 or so years it's taken them to get to.
Yeah, can you talk about that just for a sec, T? We were having this chat the other day. That just because a lot of people still don't even know what jiu-jitsu is, right?
Hey, who was it the other day? Someone was telling me that they were having a conversation with their friend, and they were saying oh yeah, I do jiu-jitsu, and they were like, oh, what's that? And like, oh, well, you know the UFC, and they're like, no. So even stuff that we're like an echo chamber of everyone that knows stuff. Oh, and it was the other day. It was was it Steve was telling me someone was like just didn't know who John Danaher was, or someone who was already a blue belt, or didn't know who Gordon Ryan was. Even people in the sport don't know too much about the sport. But the sport is growing rapidly. I think it's the fastest growing sport in the world right now, actually.
Yeah.
And as more people know about it and how accessible it is, how great it is as an activity for adults, which is quite rare to have that kind of community activity where you can still get fit and have fun and learn new skills. Basically, just like with most things, America only predicts kind of things that happen in the UK a few years behind, right? Jiu-jitsu is going to explode, and we know this, and there's going to be schools popping up all over, and there's lots of opportunity for it. There's more than enough people that are able to do jiu-jitsu, they just don't know it exists yet. And there's almost a little fall behind with the amount of people that can open schools, because it takes so long to be able to become proficient and stuff like that. So, the future of jiu-jitsu is really bright, and we're all on that path together. And in 20 years, just like you talk about the early days of the 2000s, we'll be like, oh, the early days of the 2023s, because jiu-jitsu will look completely different,
Yeah. One of the things we spoke about, which I think is really exciting, is an ambition to grow 50 homegrown black belts within the next 10 years, which I think is achievable. And I was chatting to Johnny and Joe about this actually on the way back from an X45 event recently. What's unique about GBRL is that everyone's in the same peer group pretty much. We all started, or you all started within the same year or two of each other. I don't know any other academy that's like that really. You go into most academies and there'll be someone who's been training there for 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, because they've just been around for much longer, right? So because we're all in this band together, if you stay in the game, you'll all get promoted around a similar time. Similar, depending on the amount of time you put into jiu-jitsu, how much committed you are. Hopefully you don't get any injuries. But I think, within 5-7 years, man, we're going to be turning up for a class here and there's going to be the line round the window and then there'll be another line in the middle of 10 black belts. And that's going to be absolutely wonderful.
I think when you think about what it really means to say that, it means, in terms of business, it means that we have to be exceptional at making people want to continue to train here. Obviously, jiu-jitsu, it's not a secret, it has a big dropout rate. It's a difficult sport. It's probably one of the more difficult sports you can go and do. There's the physical challenging elements of it, but there's also a huge mental challenge. You're gonna get tested every day, every time you don't want to do live training because there's that guy that gives you a really hard round, and you just think, I'm just not going to show up today. And so there's a massive dropout rate. And I think from day one, we've always wanted to be an academy that is just so exceptional that we can continue to have not just new members coming in, but support our existing members through that journey so they can get to black belt. We can say we want 50 black belts, but what we're really saying is we want to be so good that no one actually ever wants to stop jiu-jitsu or leave GBRL because it's such an impactful place for them in their lives. The black belt is just a given that of the process of you just stayed in jiu-jitsu for so long that it's undeniable.
Yeah. And one day, it will become almost like you're paying a membership to come and train with your mates. At that level when everyone's so experienced that every single role is like that game of human chess. And that's hard for people to grasp when you've got a couple of years skin in the game, or less. But when you've been training for 20 years like I have, or for the amount of time that T has, that the more you do it, the more enjoyable it becomes because there's less intensity, there's more deception, there's more strategy around what you're doing. There's more give and take, there's more play. And because the movement's more efficient and the techniques are more accessible and more things to do. So it only gets better. And I think one day, we'll have classes where you turn up. It'll be like a study hall, right? But everyone on the mat will be brown and black belts. And so everyone will be sharing knowledge, and then it's going to go and explode again to a whole new level. It's going to be wonderful, man.
What I'll be really excited, we talked about it ages ago, would be to have generational black belts, so like a father and son or mum and daughter that started training together who then both get black belts. And that's the cool thing about GBRL. We have so many families that train together here, and I think that's almost... Well, it's not unique, but, there's always a few families and other clubs that I've been to. But, here, it just seems like everyone's son or daughter's in the program and they're in the program. So I think that'll be really cool. One day, I imagine, if we ever just sneak in the olive branch downstairs and take over that, we can have kids' classes running alongside your adults' classes, and so you guys can train at the same time and leave at the same time. And there's just so much possibilities, but it takes time, takes investment, takes vision. Yeah,
even though the sport or the art is it's interesting you call it a sport, I tend to call it an art still. That's quite interesting, isn't it? I think even though that is going to explode and more people are going to be doing it, and in a way that will feel like we're losing control of it a little bit. Certainly if I reflect back on what it was like when I started, it was like a little secret thing. It was like Fight Club, you know what I mean? Like no one knew about it. And if you were in that gang, then you had something that no one else knew. It was quite magic. I think it's going to broaden out, but the one thing that will never change, like just like the Green Beret still represents the same thing it represented back from the Second World War, because everyone's done the same commando tests, is when you get your black belt in jiu-jitsu, to T's point, in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, it is a representation of you as a person, as a character, and your determination, your discipline, your ability to overcome obstacles, your commitment to yourself and to others. So that symbol of achievement will always be exceptional, and you can have that in your heart and also wear it with pride. And most people aren't going to get there. They're just simply not. Even the people we're talking to today, most people, unfortunately, will not make it to that level because for whatever reason, they'll just find it too tough one day. Something will come up and get in the way. You've got to, I had this conversation with my own son this morning who wants to join the Royal Marines. Like, you've got to make that, you can read all the books in the world, you can watch all the YouTube videos in the world, you can attend all the classes in the world, but you have to look yourself in the mirror and say, I want to be that person. I want to get to that place. And if you do that, you will do it. I think it's exceptional. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for everybody. And, our ambition, just to wrap this up really, is to be the biggest and most successful Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Academy in Gracie Barra in the whole of Europe. So continentally, people are looking at us and going, that's the standard. They've got the most members. They've got the lowest attrition rate. They've got the highest growth rate, which we probably have already anyway. They've got the best facility. They've got the biggest, most comprehensive schedule. And you can be a part of that.
Yeah, I think it'd be really cool, to, if I take even my instructor hat off, just as a student to travel somewhere, and when you say, I'm from GBRL, they go, oh, rather than just, where's that,
I think you're going to find that already.
Yeah.
In the Gracie Barra UK community, we went to the conference last week, and Simon and Victor won't mind us saying this, but there was a lot of looking to our table for these guys are doing this already, and they're trying to share this for all the other academies. But we are looked at, I think, already within the UK community as an academy, because we're one of the largest already, in the top 3, I'd say, who are doing different stuff and driving forward at a different pace on a different track to a lot of other academies.
Not mentioning anything to do with just the facility changes that we've got kind of in the pipeline either as well. Want to make this area, already people see the recovery room has been improved a little bit with new TV up, nice new seating area, got some new chairs on the way, going to get a reception area looking nice and cool, hopefully over the Christmas break. Then move room by room, right?
Yeah. So just continued investment really back into the academy. We need to do some work on the roof. There's little holes in the roof where it keeps leaking. Keep working with the landlord on that. Ultimately, one day, I think with this still space in the schedule, this is the crazy thing. Like some classes have 4 students in it. Some have 44, some have 4. So there's still room for us to grow on our current schedule. There's still room in the schedule to do even more. Yeah. We could do Sunday classes, we could do whatever. Hopefully if Professor Adisa comes back, we can have him in there.
Utilising more of the second mat space a lot of the time, mid-morning classes.
Yeah, there's loads of room. Yeah. But I think one day we'll want to probably expand out of this place. I'm not sure we'll ever move. I've looked around. We could go to an industrial estate just on the outside of the ring road or something and get a big unit. It ain't going to feel the same. No. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to have the same... We're not going to be rooted in the community like we are on Street Lane. So I don't think I've got an ambition to move, or we've got an ambition to move from here, but we'd like to take more space within this building if possible. And, we've made that clear to the landlord that if anything changes, what's going on downstairs, we'd like to have the opportunity to expand into that. So yeah, we've got loads of big plans, but ultimately, big ambition takes big support. And so I suppose the last thing I want to say to everybody is just a huge thank you for being a part of this wonderful journey. that we're all on together. And I want you to feel proud that you are a part of it. And you are, in one day, a guy will walk into the academy, or a girl will walk into the academy, or a child will walk into the academy for their first time, and you'll be stood there with a black belt on, and you'll be able to say to them, I was there from the beginning. I saw this place grow. I remember when there were no morning classes on. I remember when there was only classes a couple of times at lunchtime, and now look at us. So yeah, be a part of it, be proud of it. And any questions about anything, price change, future, how you can be more involved, what's coming up, then get in touch with Soaps, info@gracebararounder.co.uk, and would love to hear from you.
All right, till next time, crew. Us.